Hi guys, and welcome to another 7-minute lecture. I've done videos on comic books, literature, even cinema. The only two real domains of entertainment I haven't grasped at on this channel are probably music and television. My knowledge of music is terrible, but I can make videos on TV shows like we all can. I wondered if I should perhaps start with something that I like, but no. I've been positive with the rest. Let me do something else here. Let me start critiquing a television show for my first video on any TV show. And with that said, what could possibly be an easier, juicier target than everybody's favorite HBO's Game of Thrones? There's already a lot of content available on why the ending of the series was horrible. Nonetheless, since flogging dead horses is a pet hobby of mine, I'm going to take a few long overdue swings at this sort of dead horse as well and use that to fill up today's slot for a video. Since we only have 7 minutes and not 7 hours to critique this calamity of a TV show, this lecture simply focuses on the most annoying deaths. Because the show does have some great, shocking death scenes. Ned's execution, the Red Wedding, Joffrey's assassination, Hodor's sacrifice. There are many. And even the deaths which are anticlimactic, like Robert Baratheon's or Khal Drogo's, even though those were underwhelming ways to die for warriors of their caliber, it still made so much sense and it had an impact on the story. But some deaths in the show made no sense. They took away from many things that had been built about these characters, and they never really played a role in the story ever again. So here are my top 5 most annoying deaths in the Game of Thrones TV show. Number 1, Barristan Selmy. There's a quote in the show itself where the small council talks about Cersei kicking Selmy out, and he's now taken the Targaryen side, and Tywin Lannister even says dismissing Sir Barristan was as insulting as it was stupid. One wishes that the writers of the show heeded that advice. Killing off this character in some dark alley somewhere was as insulting as it was stupid. Because in the actual story, he plays a crucial link between the Targaryens and the Seven Kingdoms, since he really was the Mad King's bodyguard and a good friend of Rhaegar as well. And more than that, he had been hyped up so much as this unstoppable swordsman. The scene where he faces off against the King's guard when Joffrey dismisses him and he's like, I can carve through you guys like a cake. That's still one of the best scenes in the entire series. Are you going to do anything with that? Nope. He dies in a dark alley like a nobody. Number 2, Littlefinger and the way he grovels before his death. This was so frustrating because it was clearly written for a shallow TV audience that was like, oh, I hate Littlefinger, rather than because it made any sense to the script. Littlefinger just begs for his life when a fan favorite, Arya, slits his throat. He displays none of the intelligence that his entire character is built on. He's supposed to be this master manipulator who can think on his feet, and yet he acts like a child. When Bran says, oh, I saw you put a knife to my father's heart, he doesn't deny it. He just stands there bewildered. When he's being targeted, he doesn't try to talk his way out of it. He doesn't even demand a trial by combat. I mean, come on. He's orchestrated 2 different trials for Tyrion, once by blaming him for the dagger and once by helping the Tyrells kill Joffrey. And on both occasions, Tyrion escaped by demanding a trial by combat. At least learn from that. Even I know that if I was in the Game of Thrones world, if I'm accused of something, the only way out is to demand a trial by combat. But Littlefinger doesn't. He just dies incompetently. Number 3, the death of Varys. Another example of a smart character who's been intelligent this entire time and then starts acting like a complete fool because the story wants him to die. He knows that he's working for this dragon queen who just burns people alive for defying her, and yet he just casually starts writing letters about Jon's origins and sends them around the world even without trying to hide it. And what adds insult to injury is that the show never really did anything with this either. Not only does Varys die like an idiot to send out these letters, but these letters are never mentioned ever again and have no impact at all on the story. Number 4, the death of the Night's King. This guy was supposed to be the ultimate bad guy, the unstoppable monster, the final threat to be vanquished. Until the episode in which he dies, he was portrayed as an apocalyptic threat. And finally, he's just killed off in a few seconds by a fan favorite again, Arya, who has had no interaction with him before this. There's been no foreshadowing or build up that this would be her purpose. There was absolutely nothing done later with the fact that she was the one who killed him. It just seemed like it was done to get applause while people watched it for the first time rather than for it to make sense. And what is the brilliant strategy that she uses to defeat this big threat? What is the huge sort of climactic, game-changing move which gives our good guys the victory? She switches hands. That's right, guys. She switches the knife from one hand to the other, and that's this show's version of this ultimate master stroke of combat genius, which ultimately destroys the Night's King. And finally, for number 5, I would say the death of Marcella Lannister. Not a major character, but her death completely destroyed the Jaime character. His entire story arc in season 5 was that he went to Dawn, did nothing, and returned from Dawn. The only thing which changed was that his daughter was dead. That was his entire story arc. Go to a place and come back. And his character never really recovered from that. The whole Marcella death thing also messed up the Dawn storyline. While in the books, there's a deep political conspiracy currently brewing in the minds of the Dawnish masterminds. In the series, they were just turned into a bunch of incompetent desert savages who backstab and kill each other and then die without accomplishing anything. Those are just some of the annoying deaths in the series. There are others as well. I'm not going to waste my time on Daenerys inexplicably going mad without any foreshadowing and then getting stabbed by Jon, and Jon faces absolutely no consequences for that. Or Rickon Stark's death, which should be a major tragedy, but none of the siblings even mention it ever after. They don't even talk about him. Breaking all that down would take too long. The show was clearly a total mess, and I hope you, like me, had a laugh at the collapse instead of getting worked up about it like everyone else. If you like content like this, please don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you, take care, and I'll see you soon.